Welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right into how our planet's geography literally dictates the environment around us. If you've ever wondered why the world feels so vastly different from one region to the next, well, it all boils down to a very specific set of rules.
Right, so let's start with a really fascinating comparison. Up north in Kashmir, folks are wearing traditional warm farans and sipping hot kawa tea. But down south in coastal Kerala, it's light cotton clothes and a fish-heavy diet. Why such a massive difference in how people live day to day? It's absolutely all about the atmosphere they're living in.
To unpack this, here is our agenda for today. First, we'll clarify weather versus climate. Second, we're looking at latitude and altitude. Third, the ocean's influence. And finally, winds and humidity.
Okay, Section 1, Weather versus Climate.
We hear these two words used interchangeably all the time, right? But scientifically, they are completely different beasts. Weather is the volatile everyday experience. It's the short-term atmospheric conditions that meteorological departments track using revolving satellites. It's super variable. You can have a sunny morning, a crazy windy afternoon, and a pouring rainy evening all on the exact same day. That is weather.
Climate, on the flip side, is the long-term average condition of a place. Think about a city like Delhi. Year after year, they get those scorching summer Lu winds, and then they get freezing winters. That reliable, long-term pattern, that is what establishes their extreme climate.
So a good rule of thumb, weather tells you what to wear today, or maybe if you need to cancel your picnic. But climate? Climate is foundational. It dictates what crops farmers can actually plant, how you need to build your house to survive the year, and ultimately, it shapes the entire lifestyle and diet of a region.
And that brings us to the 6 distinct puzzle pieces that control our local climates. We're talking about latitude, altitude, distance from sea, winds, humidity, and ocean currents.
Let's break those down. Section 2, Latitude and Altitude.
First up is latitude. Because the Earth is a sphere and it sits on a tilt, your latitude determines how much direct heat you get from the sun. At the equator, you're getting intense vertical rates concentrated over a very short distance, making it incredibly hot. But as you move towards the poles, those rays hit at a slant. They travel further, lose some heat, and spread out over a much larger area, which progressively cools things down.
Then we have altitude, simply how high a place is above sea level. This is exactly why we escape to hill stations like Shimla or Manali when the summer gets too hot. The science is simple. As your altitude increases, the temperature predictably drops.
Just to put that into perspective, think about the city of El Alto in Bolivia. It sits at an unbelievable 4,150 meters above sea level, and it's not just a tiny outpost. 1.2 million people live their daily lives way up in that thin, cool atmosphere.
Moving right along, Section 3, The Ocean's Influence.
So the secret to a beautifully moderate climate, not too hot, not too cold, is being close to the ocean. The sea is basically Earth's giant temperature regulator. Coastal cities like Mumbai and Chennai stay relatively warm and moderate, but inland areas, the ones totally cut off from the sea's influence, they suffer those massive extremes, scorching summers and freezing winters.
And this moderation happens because of a brilliant daily cycle. During the day, the land heats up fast, that hot air rises, and a cool sea breeze rushes in to take its place. At night, the whole thing reverses. The land cools off faster than the ocean, so the warm air above the water rises, and a cool land breeze moves out to sea. It's a continuous cycle that keeps the coast perfectly regulated.
But it's not just the surface air. We have to talk about ocean currents. Think of these as massive, continuous rivers of water moving across the globe. Warm ocean currents act almost like an underwater heater, significantly warming up nearby coastal climates. And of course, cold currents do the exact opposite, pulling the local temperatures right down.
Section 4, Winds and Humidity. Wind is essentially nature's delivery system for climate. Winds physically carry the conditions of wherever they came from. So winds blowing from warm inland areas like Africa arrive warm and dry. Winds coming from Central Europe in the winter, they're going to blast you with cold, dry air. And naturally, winds blowing in from the ocean are usually carrying rain.
And when those ocean winds carry a ton of moisture, they crank up the humidity. Humidity is just the amount of water vapor trapped in the air, and you can actually measure it with a tool called a hygrometer. When humidity is high, the air is just too saturated to cool you down effectively, which is exactly why coastal cities can feel so intensely sweaty and hot.
So as we wrap up this explainer, you can see that climate is definitely not just one random thing that happens to us. It is a delicate, perfectly orchestrated balance of these 6 geographic forces: latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, winds, humidity, and ocean currents are all constantly interacting to weave the tapestry of the climates we live in.
I want to leave you with this thought. Take a look out your window right now. Based on everything we've just covered, can you spot the science in action? Which of those 6 factors is the dominant force shaping your neighborhood's climate today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep observing the amazing world around you.